Welcome, everybody, to our conversation with Calm. I'm B. Sedgwick, and a writer and someone who is really into helping people learn the power of presence and the little things we can do together to change the world through my company, which is called Spirit Moxie. Aya, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Aya Nozawa, and then I'm a holistic educator implementing a lot of contemplative practices into education and also consultant to integrate this component into education as well. I'm very happy to be here.
And we got here and wanted to share this with you because we've been having these fabulous conversations, just the two of us, around being calm. There's been some stresses that maybe some of you are aware of about the way the world is right now. And we've been able to get into a place of just sort of a place of gentleness, maybe. How would you talk about it, Aya?
Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is outside right now. I'm sitting in the deck with chickens walking around. You might hear them. And then the breeze just going through this whole area, the connecting to that essence of what is, and then getting rid of all that hustle bustle, all the thoughts and the framework and chattering in your mind. This is that gentle place that you can be and we can all be.
And part of, I think, how we get there when the two of us talk is just a process of listening to one another without any kind of judgments. Right now I'm playing with vocabulary, and a lot of what we seem to do is just, we're so told so often that things are hard and overwhelming right now that we believe it. And it isn't until we can sort of relax in and see the gorgeous trees and odd looking books and know that there's actually sort of a settled place that's a part, or is even more real than the overwhelm and the stress that is so popular right now, that what people are sort of looking and playing with.
Yeah, and then and I think a lot of people think, oh, it's an escape.
Calm.
Yeah, like there's so many things that happen. You have to get involved. You have to be active on it. But actually, it's the opposite.
Yes.
Come into this space first, and then move from this space is much more effective. I think I was telling you about this story when I was writing the thesis dissertation on contemplative practice of educators. And then my mind says, okay, you get on it, and you have to finish it. You have to finish this chapter today. And the other part of me is like, okay, be the one, who can bring it into your essence instead of just going there and then just finishing it up. So when I'm going into the meditation or any form of contemplative practices, it is so interesting to observe after that moment of like, all kinds of ideas just pop up, and it would lead me into the place that I never imagined. When I was thinking, okay, I gotta squeeze this out from my mind to finish this chapter today, it's actually broadened the whole perception. And then from that space, when I write it, it just takes you totally different space, and I can be really creative and very effective as a result of it. And then as a result, I finish it. So
Yeah. I mean, that's related, I think, to what I've been talking about, the power of just being, which is
yes,
one of the conversations I do. And actually, when you are there, all kinds of things happen. We seem to have failed getting Facebook Live posted today, but we have got it so at least it's showing up as an option, which is a first step. And perhaps this will be stronger for people to be listening to it as a recording in the
Mhm.
future. I don't know, and I don't need to know. There's just something very powerful about stopping judging, I think it is. And the person thing we're both most apt to do the most is
Mm,
judge ourselves.
yeah,
So we're not, and when we do that, it's I'd like to think we almost always get it wrong because we're hard on ourselves and we're hard on things we care about, or at least I am. And when you let go of that, magic happens.
yes,
Magic happens like friendships. So we talk about COVID and how hard it is and how terrible it is. But you and I would not be friends if it had not been for that.
that's true.
It's true.
Mhm.
You know, and I would bet I invite anybody listening to this to um, start sharing their own stories about what quite unexpectedly is possible. And if you can't think of anything, then I'd suggest you sort of just relax a while because trust me, I'm pretty sure there's something there. I hate it when somebody tells me that what I think is wrong. So if you think that and you're right, bless you. But it's more fun when you can start thinking of the possibilities and the options that sort of just unfold from just listening and um,
Yeah, it's like opening up to all kinds of senses. You are so alive in that moment, even though you don't move necessarily or it comes out as action, but you are so fully engaged. And I love the story that you told me about your life, from Asia to come here. It was the whole process of trusting every step, right?
yeah, I've been sort of in a place of sort of trying to find out who I want to be when I grow up. And as part of that, I had a couple of first a fall and then little bit of cancer. And from that got to a place of realizing that unless I'm in a place of just being, I I get sick. My body says, wait a second, you're supposed to be doing something else. In fact, you're supposed to be doing less actually. And I found that I've all of a sudden realized how powerful it was because I spent last fall in Thailand at the request of my daughter-in-law who wanted me to explore to see if I wanted to live there. And the answer is not quite yet. And because of just being open to friendship and what was happening, some people stored some of my stuff, but somebody else collected my winter clothes and they picked me up at the airport last November and I'm still there here. And it's been a perfect thing. I've been available to support her through some illness. The dogs think I'm the best thing that's come in because they've got somebody else to help walk them. Um, Even the cats decided that maybe I'm okay. And which is it's an odd, but it's sort of like I don't need to know what's next. Right now, what I'm supposed to be doing is talking to you and hoping that that place, that sense of just sitting can produce things. I mean, in this process, my book got published. Um, I've been writing more. That's been really fun. Um, I can't even begin. It's just all these sort of miraculous magic pieces that happen as they went to, and by not doing anything, I've suddenly become absolutely more productive by working from this place of calm.
Yeah, from the being, the
Mm-hmm.
present.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what holistic education talks about. We teach from the presence, which teach from being. It's not about the curriculum that we learn, what to or how to, but it's from that essence of that person or the teacher that speaks to the child, speaks to the student, and then that sparks the wonder in them to get so motivated to learn. And
And
so,
that's where
you
they
know,
do learn, and that's when things start happening. When I my granddaughter is in second grade. We're supposed to know these things, or was last year, and first I don't know, but anyway, she's loves books. She's in, she's clearly family, and I ran into a copy of, I don't even remember what it was, but it was a very adult. I think it was Alice Through the Looking Glass. It was a very complicated book, and but it was cute. It was a cute little book, and it was on the discount table in this bookstore. So I picked it up and brought it home and laid it out there. And next thing you know, you see her going, just sort of reading this thing, which it was not a book that I would have thought about giving her. I thought maybe, in a couple of years she might be fun to do, but she was into it. Partly just from that sense of wonder and curiosity that you're talking about. And because nobody told her she should or shouldn't. I don't like should
yeah.
much.
And then children know, and they're in that space and teaching this skill called connection practice, which is social emotional learning, and combined with the way to connect to heart intelligence.
Mm.
And so the parents want to know about it, and then they
Mm-hmm.
brought the children. It's sort of like a adults version and the kids version separately. And then I'm just so amazed, how they know. Like, for example, when we're talking about the feelings, they might not know the exact words to express, but they feel it, So this is just a way for them to be able to connect with us, but that doesn't mean that they don't know. They have it in them, and it's so beautiful. Or, when we were practicing, okay, let's go into this heart space and connect to your own wisdom. And then they would question me by saying, you know, I'm just sort of like out of space. Is this what you're trying to do? Like, it's beyond. Or they said, I feel so sleepy. I'm just not going to be here anymore learning about this. And I said, that's the magic of it. So it was so amazing to see how they are so connected to the essence, and then somehow on the process of growing up we started to hear this, we started to have that, and then but I think we all have that in all of us. And then we tap into that space, and then we were like, wow, that's right, I forgot about this. With all this busy life and do this and do that, it's such a release. And then, like you said, it's a gentle space. And then when you're there, you just feel, and then you become gentle with yourself or gentle with all others around you. You don't have to be gentle. You are just gentle. That's another thing. Like, I was asking my children, having said all this, I still do these little things like, what do you want to do in the future when you become adult in the future. And then the little kid, maybe he was, I don't know, 7 6 7 years old, my younger one. He was just thinking, I said, you know, I want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And then by listening to that, the comment, I realized, oh shoot, I still ask, what do you want to do in the future? The do, it's so part of my mind. And then he reminded me, no, it's just the being, it's just that state that I want to be all the time.
There's so much wisdom in that, because as a parent, that's all I want for my kids. That's what I want. I want them to be happy. And what that looks like for them, I don't know. So,
That's true.
so I think it is, but calm is so calm, so even, or at least it seems to be. And sometimes we think of happy, I'm just trying this out. Sometimes we think of happy as this sort of big, fiery kind of thing, but I don't think it is. I think there's a part of happy that's just sort of can be part of your bloodstream. And maybe it's sometimes laughter and excitement, but happy and excited is two different words.
Yeah, sort of like a contentment that seeps through you, from all the skins and the little cells. It just seeps into you.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
I'm
not like
laughing more as as part of all this. So it's sort of like it's made me available. I'll find myself like bursting out laughing, and it's like, really, B? You don't do that, but apparently I do. And I think it's
yeah,
related
it's
to
like
what you're saying about the happy and calm.
yeah, it almost becomes like like a little kid, right? The the laughter just comes out, or uh, yeah, you're more like a childlike, like, and I kind of saw that in all these people that I kind of look up to. Um, when Nelson Mandela came to Toronto, where I was studying, it just struck me by this childlikeness, or like very pure, and then like a sense of wonder, full of sense of wonder. And then it reminds me of, my goodness, like the person that I thought that very not prestigious, but the figure that I look up to, actually so childlike, so I don't know what to say to describe this. Yeah, it's like a full of energy, full of like a flow, full of flow. To me, that appears to be childlike. And
This
then
child is going
love.
to shut this door. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the essence that I feel from all these people who are meditating a lot. And like Dalai Lama, when I saw him in India,
Ooh.
I was expecting somebody so big, and then no, he was really, short man, full of smile, so childlike, so curious. So that shocked me. I guess in my mind, somebody so dedicated to meditation is like a like a firm adult, and then it just appeared to be so childlike, and then so full of energy, so full of wonder. So that's how I got it. Just like you said, you laugh a lot, and appreciate so many things, and so that's also coming from that calmness, and sort of like a trusting, like you're saying, every step from Bali to United States, you didn't plan anything and it just followed through. So it's that trust.
Everybody
And
kept telling me how brave I was, and I never could get that.
yeah, but it's that trust, I think, coming from that calm space, and then that seeps into you.
Mm.
And then if you're in there, you don't have to make an effort to be trusting. It just comes, one and after.
And and I mean, I in that place a lot, but there's times when I have to talk myself back into it, remind myself that all there is talking to you, for example, right now, and that's all that matters. Or walking the dog and actually looking and seeing a tree, or seeing the dog. Um, and knowing that the exoticness of being overseas and the apparent mundaneness of being in suburban Cincinnati are the same, or they just are. Maybe there's not a sameness. They are this themselves. And when you get there, there's a real power in that, because from that place, anything is possible. It's more apt to happen if you don't worry about it too much, too.
So when did you realize that? Is that what you always had?
Well, I was thinking about what you were talking about children. And I think that we end up telling sort of, you get told you're not supposed to believe something or do something or be something. And
Mhm.
since you're fitting in, you start believing it. So, I mean, my stories are true of actually, I did all kinds of study and all that, and sort of attempt to find out who my true self was, because I just
Mhm.
got interested. I was interested in spiritual stuff for as long as I can remember. But it really was, trying to figure out why my body was reacting the way it was, what kind of messages it was trying to tell me if I believed that it knew something, and
Mhm.
got to being present and was all ready to move to the West Coast.
Hmm.
And it wasn't falling in place. And so I explored why, and it ended up being this little bit of anemia that turned out to be a form of what was a bone marrow cancer thing. But
Hmm.
and it was treatable. I mean, it was very treatable, said she. My doctor argues with me, but that's all right. Um, and he gets mad at me when I don't pay enough attention to him. But 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 in point of fact, it was. But what I got from that was that apparently I just had to just see what was in front of me each minute. And when I do that, fabulous stuff happens. You meet gurus, that you meet um, Bali healers, and meet Japanese women doing fabulous work out of Idaho, of all places, and you meet you get adopted by dogs, which is the excuse we're giving for my living where I'm living, is that the younger dog decided that I was hers. Some people own dogs. This dog decided that she owns me and that therefore I should be here. So we say, you can make it up, you can play with it, and all that's real is that I'm talking right now to you. That's all there is. And it's all there needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
It's
It's, it,
so.
it's, I mean, I, lately I've been around a lot of people doing manifestation stories, and I have great stories around that. And so that's related to it. Everything's sort of all intertwined. So it's like it isn't all one story or one theory. It just all feeds each other. So I play with time. I've been doing that for a long. I've been doing that for quite a while, and that's one conversation. But it all and I talk about changing the world, and that's another conversation. And being present is what I say I can help people into right now because it's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But they all work together. They're all, I can't do one without referencing everything. It isn't like I'm teaching math and English. And even if I was teaching math and English, you'd end up with story problems. It's like they'd still work together because that's how
Yeah,
life
I
is.
remember.
That's how life
I
is.
remember the feeling when I first talked with you in one of the breakout rooms. It was so healing almost to me, by you being the bee.
But what's been fun is that as some people that are listening to this might know, we're both part of something called Thrive, but we're doing sort of a process right now where we talk one-on-one to people just to see what is going on with them and to tell them what you're up to. And they've been more fun because every single time I've been able to pull out something that's their thing. And it's been, wow. It's been just fun to do. It's been just a good.
And then how this happened was out of that, one day, okay, boom. And then I happened to, connect with you and then, oh, let's chat up. And then that's how, otherwise it wouldn't have happened.
Yep, well, we were just one-on-one in a room, just like we sort of are now, and we just became friends. That's what
Isn't
happened.
that amazing when you really think about it?
Mm-hmm.
We never met.
But if I ever get to
And what's
Boise,
the chances, right? But then boom, it just happened and then we're talking and then we're
happened a
connecting.
couple times, and then like the universe wanted it to. And that's what it's sort of like about sort of this whole manifestation of friends and connections and possibilities. But then a couple times we've both reached out to the other person when it was just the right time. We've done it 2 or 3 times now.
That's so true.
Yep.
So when, you think about all this, it's just amazing. The reason why I got connected to that program was because I was um, referred to by this, connection practice leader, and then to be able to get into the connection practice before, then I wouldn't have, met this person, that person. So, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have known this. And then if you connect all that dots, it's just miraculous.
Well, I was part, as I said, I write. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, I finally figured the only skill base I had was writing. I don't know if that's true, and it isn't true, but it's certainly one of them. And I ended up being connecting to a whole different group with someone who was a creative and a business person and has theater background, which I do, and actually graduated from a school I went to in second grade. So of course I had to connect with her, right? And I was at an event that she went to about in 2017. And I was at an event that she was leading, and Jesse, who's one of the leaders of the organization that connected us, showed up to give his spiel. Oh, fudge. Well, we just lost her, but she'll come back. I bet you anything she'll come back. Just jump right back in here, please, lady. But I'll finish the story. And we it's just disconcerting because it had just disappeared. So we can decide if we want to hear the end. The basic end is that I connected, it was the wrong time, and I reconnected in April, and only because of the COVID thing. And it's been perfect. I discovered the whole idea that I really can share the presence thing as well as the changing the world piece, which was the only piece I knew. And and that's sort of where it is. So I'm going to think I'm going to end this with that, since technology has deserted us. And I hope that you have a fabulous, fabulous day. And that this whole conversation that we've been having with you has been a little bit useful on just to be able to relax into the calm and the place in the center that's the true you that can get everything done. Thanks.